everyone. So today's video should be a little bit different for most of you. We haven't touched the Viper for a while now. So the channel kind of started off doing a bunch of mods to the Viper. If you guys haven't checked out those videos, I'll put above here the playlist that actually has all those videos, because we took this thing from a bone stock car and I don't want to say restored it, but we just kind of brought it up to 2018 standards. Went through the whole car, kind of refreshed a bunch of stuff, and I mean the list goes on and on. I don't want to bore you guys, but I mean we re-cored the radiator. We what else we do? We put a new thermostat in it. We put silicone radiator hoses. We rebuilt the power steering rack. Put a new rear end in it. Put an exhaust on it. Redid all the suspension. Put all coilovers on it. Redid every single bushing on the whole car. What else we do? We put reinforced sway bar bushings. The list goes on. Solid steering rack mounts, short throw shifter, wheels, on and on. We redid all the brakes. We didn't upgrade the brakes, but we just replaced all the pads. I mean the list just keeps going on and on. We put tow hooks on it. We put HIDs in it. We put LEDs in it. We pretty much brought this up to spec. The only thing we didn't touch, and that's what today's video is the transmission. So the transmission was kind of, I guess, the missing link in the whole thing. So like I said, we kind of went through the whole engine. Yeah, we did spark plugs on the thing. Like we did pretty much everything to bring this thing up. And so the transmission was, I guess, the next factor in a, I guess, 18-year-old car. It's a 2000. So that was the next thing that wanted some attention. So that was my first time pulling the transmission out of this car. Usually the videos that I do, I guess I shouldn't say that. Most of them I like to do that I feel a little more confident in. With my bad shoulder, I really didn't want to be working over my head. So I ended up pulling out the transmission by myself. And that's why you'll see the car so low. So I actually did it myself. And like I said, I wasn't familiar with the process, but it was fairly straightforward, the process. But I mean, just the feat of getting it out by myself was quite the task, I'll be honest with you. But I know it's not a hard task, but I mean at the same time, with you're dealing with a compromised shoulder that was just dislocated like a month ago, it's not the easiest thing. So anyways, that's why the car was low. I ended up kind of disconnecting it all myself, and then I used a floor jack and kind of my good arm or hand to stabilize it and bring it down. It was kind of a little bit clumsy, but we got it down, no issues, and it's now out. So I'm gonna go ahead and talk to you guys about what's going on with that transmission. Maybe you guys will show some interest in this project, maybe not, we will see. Let me show you what's going on. So here's the transmission. Like I said, I jacked the car up. Well, jacked it, raised it on the lift, but I didn't go too high, because the thing is there's actually transmission mounts that you can get, or sorry, transmission lifts that you can get that are made for a lift. So, you know, the car is way up here and you're walking underneath it, and then they have like a huge stand with a transmission jack basically raised up here. So because the car has such a low roof profile, I could actually raise the car and just about get underneath it. I mean, you'd kind of be ducking a little bit, but eventually, if you guys are stopping in for the first time, eventually we're going to reconstruct this roof. The roof line is really high, but eventually we'll restructure the actual portion there. We'll get an engineer in here so we can go all the way up, because we have a ton of clearance up there. There's no reason why we won't be able to lift almost any vehicle the full height eventually, but for now, this is what we're working with. I'm cool with this. Just the fact that we have a lift that we can lift it up is more than enough. So anyways, I lifted it up this much so that I could lower the transmission without it falling like 3 feet. So it was just, you know, I worked on it and then I put it to this position so that I could just lower it on the floor jack. So we did that, got the transmission out, and here it is sitting on the floor. So now you guys are probably going to ask what's going on with it, where are we sending it, all that good stuff. So it is, when I first got the car, and like I said, I was just kind of refreshing everything. So I mean, the car doesn't have a high miles or anything like that, but it's only got like 70,000 miles. But just a car with age and different stuff, I guess stuff just kind of dry rots, or you know, stuff sitting around doesn't exactly, I guess, I don't know. Anyways, sitting around, it just kind of deteriorates, I guess. So I ended up replacing the tail shaft seal when I got the car, because this one was leaking a little bit. And we ended up right now you can see all this kind of oil just kind of puking out of here. So this is the input shaft of the transmission, and it's leaking out of the input shaft seal. So here comes this thing. You can actually, because this is kind of the adapter plate, so you can actually take this off and unbolts, and you can replace just the seal in there. So I was really debating doing that because, I don't know, as far as I can tell, it doesn't seem to be, I mean, there's just marginal play in this, barely anything. So the bearing seems good, but I feel like since we have it out, I might as well get it rebuilt. So I'm actually going to send it off. It's going off to a very well-known transmission rebuilder called Tick Performance in South Carolina, I believe. So we're going to ship this out. Believe me, I would much rather change the seal and put it back in the car, but it was kind of, I don't know, there was making a tiny bit of whining noise, just marginal, and I think it was coming from here because I've ruled out all of their possible causes. So I think that might be part of the reason why this seal is leaking, even though it doesn't seem to be much play here. They're going to go through the whole entire transmission and just rebuild it. Since it's out, I really don't have to pull it a second time. So they're going to put all new bearings, inspect the whole transmission, replace all the seals, so it will be 100%. And I think that's kind of, I know it's a little more expensive route to take, but it's definitely going to be the best route to go. So I think if we end up keeping this car, I really want to take it back to the track and start doing some, fun stuff with it, with you guys on the channel too. So, not having to worry about this is just another piece of the puzzle. So, oh, we did exhaust too. That's a big part that I forgot to mention on the car. So anyways, what we're going to do for today's video is I'm going to remove the short throw shifter. This was one of the really cool pieces. If you guys have a Viper, definitely get one of these IPSCO. It's kind of a strange name, but IPSCO short throw shifter. This thing completely changes the car. So I have to take that off. I'm also going to take off my energy suspension transmission mount that you guys can see hopefully right down there. And the fluid's already drained out of it. So we're going to send it off. I'm not going to worry about washing it, to be honest, because they're going to media blast it and wash and degrease it. So it should come back looking pretty well new. So I'm going to take off those two things. And the funny part of this video is we're going to be putting it in the Jetta outside so that we can strap it to a crate and get it the heck out of here. So let me pop that stuff off and then we'll wrap up the video. Okay, so there was actually one extra piece I forgot to mention. So short throw shifter is removed. Energy suspension transmission mount is removed, which was a great upgrade. Also forgot another piece to show you guys. I have a billet cross member support brace which supports the transmission. That also helped tremendously with stiffening the chassis up. And I did have to remove the slave cylinder. So as soon as I pulled the slave cylinder off, you could just see how much oil just started puking out of that input shaft seal. So it all started just like running out. It was just hiding out behind there. So anyways, Jetta's loaded up. This thing, I've put so many hilarious things in the back of a Volkswagen before. I should probably dig it up. I actually put a whole motorcycle in the back of a Golf diesel before, and it was pretty comical, but I think I have footage of it somewhere. I gotta try and dig that up. But I've put so much different stuff in this. I've put motorcycle engines and all sorts of stuff in Jetta. As you guys saw, I had the wheels back there. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab the transmission and throw it in here. If you guys want a good laugh, check out how small the drive shaft is on a Viper. It is literally only about a foot long. It is tiny. There's the size of my tailgate, and look at the size of the drive shaft for a Viper. So anyways, transmission's loaded up. It's actually pretty tiny. It only weighs, it's supposed to apparently weigh like 110 or 120 pounds, so it's not too crazy. Pretty lightweight transmission, these T56s. That's what this is, a Tremec T56, just so you guys know. But it is loaded up and we can send it off. Alright you guys, so that's going to do it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed this video, and it's a little bit different content for you guys, but let me know what you guys think of the Viper content. You guys want to see more of this thing? You guys want to see more of it on the track once it's finally running, or you want to see technical stuff? I know a lot of people don't work on these cars themselves, but it is refreshing to know that if you did want one of these cars ever, you can actually work on it. It's a car that you can maintain yourself. It's just nuts and bolts. It's just another vehicle. So, and I proved that in the other videos, but check out those videos of the full run through of this car. This car has literally been gone through from front to back at this point. So once I get the transmission back, it's pretty much all refreshed. Maybe we'll throw a cam in it when we get bored one day, but we'll see what happens. Or we might get rid of it and put something else in. Who knows? Anyways, guys, again, if you like it, thumbs up for me. Make sure you subscribe. We'll see you in the next video. Take care.